Hello YouTube friends. So this is going to be a combination video. This is going to be one of my Series of Unexplained Events videos, and I definitely have a story as far as that goes. But it's also going to be me sort of talking about like psychic experiences in general, and sort of I'm doing something new, I guess is what I'm going to inform you about. So I'll tell you the story first, that way you can hear the interesting part, and if you don't care about the rest, you can click off the video at that point. So anyway, first, I've got both of my kittens sleeping over here, so I thought I'd show them to you real quick. Jean is all snuggled up here, having a nap. And Squeedles is sleeping down here. Let's try and...
There he is. What's up, buddy?
Oh, he's even purring. He's cute.
Come say hi to YouTube.
He's being ridiculously sleepy and cuddly right now. Usually this cat is a total nightmare. Like, I love him to death, but he is a tiny demon, basically. Like, he does not cooperate for anything. Okay, so, my story. This actually happened about a week before my wedding. So this was a little more than a month ago now. And that's why I'm going to tell you this one, despite I have a lot of other unexplained events that I would like to share with you, but I figure I need to get this one out before I start forgetting details and all of this sort of... It'll get buried under other things, because I feel like I have stories that are way more amazing, I guess is a good word for that. Like, interesting, they seem more powerful. But this was still really crazy to me when it happened, so... me and my mother went just like a week before my wedding. She bought me a couple of really nice like candles, because I like to burn candles to sort of relax and stuff. So she got me a couple candles from like Bath and Body Works, and we're on our way home to her house. So at some point on this drive, we're on the highway, and I don't know, this is the strange part of the story. I don't remember why I brought this up. Like, what caused this to suddenly be in my head. I don't remember that moment at all. It's really weird because it's kind of just like a blank spot. But we're definitely sure I brought this up, and I was really passionate about the subject matter. I started telling my mom about a car accident that I had actually seen, the aftermath of this car accident, like maybe a month before this, with Ian. And we had been driving along the highway, and on the opposite side of the highway, this must have just taken place like right after we got there. There was a truck that was flipped over, like a 4x4 truck, and I'm assuming that the driver was ejected from the car. I don't actually know, but based on the fact that there was a guy face down on the ground, I'll never forget cowboy boots. Like, I remember seeing the back of his cowboy boots and his jeans as we drove by, and there were all these people that were running up to him and like putting umbrellas over him to try and shade him from the sun, and like on their phones calling 911. It just looked really bad. And so I was telling my mother about this, and I was also very angry about people driving recklessly, not paying attention, just doing irresponsible things. And specifically, I was telling her I had had experiences myself since I'd moved up here with people pulling out in front of me a couple times and just driving really unsafely, and that really, it's like a pet peeve of mine. Like, I don't like when people do stupid crap behind the wheel of a car. Just pisses me off. There are a lot of things you can do to make me angry, but that's one of the ones that will make me the most angry. So I'm talking about this, and about the time, like, we've been talking about this for a while, to where we are at a 4-way stoplight. And so both of these lanes of traffic are going, and we're in the turning lane waiting to go, and we have a green light but not an arrow. So we are waiting for traffic to clear so that we can turn. Directly across from us is a 4x4 truck waiting to turn, like directly across from us, going the opposite direction. And so right about this point in time, I said something vaguely of the line like, I was basically saying like, I'm really, really tired of people not being more responsible behind the wheel of a car, because I don't think people realize how dangerous accidents can actually be. And I really wish people would be safer. And right about the time I'm saying this, that truck directly in front of us pulls out into oncoming traffic and gets nailed. So I'm talking about car accidents, and 20 feet from us is a bad car accident. And when I say bad, thankfully I don't think anybody was seriously injured, but these cars, like the truck turned and the oncoming car, like they hit each other, right, both of them in the front, and both of them went up, like up in the air and came slam back down. It was not a good car accident, like it was bad. And me and my mom both immediately were just like, and we looked at each other like, did that seriously just happen? Like, we're talking about this and there's a car crash right there. And all of a sudden, like 2 cars in the turning lane behind this truck had been a sheriff. So he like whips around and he's right there helping everybody out. So it worked out well, at least. But I was just kind of in a state of shock. Like, the odds of you getting in a car wreck are not like hugely statistically significant. Like, there's a chance, obviously, it happens to everyone, but it's not like, oh, like 1 in 10 people get in an accident every day like that. And on top of that, how likely is it that you're having a conversation about a car accident? And then combine those 2 things. How often do you talk about a car accident and see a car accident at the same time? Just seems kind of not very probable for that to happen. And I was still trying to like comprehend what's going on, and my mom basically turns to me and she's like, you just had a psychic thing. You knew that was going to happen. You started talking about it. You knew. And that started freaking me out because I could not remember why I had started talking about car accidents. Like, I legitimately don't know what prompted that conversation. So I'm calling it an unexplained event mostly because I don't know if that was some kind of weird intuitive thing or if that was just some crazy ass coincidence. Regardless, I felt like it was meaningful, so I'm going to share it with you. So that's the story of the day. Part 2 of this has another smaller story, less significant, but the reason I'm going to share it with you, I started reading a book earlier this week. I don't know how many of you also watch Charming Pixie Flora's videos, but if you have, you've probably heard of this lady before. She's a big fan of her. I think she's done some workshops with her and things of that nature. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think she did a video one time of being at a workshop of hers. But I had never ever seen this lady's books anywhere. I've never really heard of her other than Charming Pixie Flora's videos. And I saw this book at Barnes & Noble, like Saturday or Sunday or something, so I bought it last weekend. It's called The Psychic Pathway. And I usually, when I see those books in that section, I just find them kind of hokey. I don't like a lot of them. They seem silly and they make everything sound way too simplistic, and I'm just not a fan. I love this book, and I've barely, as you can tell, like I haven't read a whole lot of it, and I'm just in love with it as much as I have read it. It's very practical. I like that about it. But the very first, like, it's not even chapter 1, it's like the intro, basically says, you know, if you want to sort of start on this journey of trying to hone your abilities and learn how to work with your intuition, the number one thing you got to do, the first step, is to be open to experience. And I think, honestly, that is the biggest struggle for me personally, because for some strange reason, I am just really afraid of that. I think it's because I've had a few bad experiences with things that were a little scary or frightening. So I'm afraid of having more of the same, I guess, so I shy away from it. And I feel like I actually, as much as I find it interesting and want to be a part of that, I also close myself off at the same time, if that makes sense. So I read that actually while I was at work. I read it on my lunch break, and so for the whole rest of the day I was like thinking about that as I'm doing produce stuff, like thinking about why am I afraid of stuff and how can I not be afraid and try and move forward with this. And so I finally just made a commitment to myself, like, why am I going to be afraid of this before I've even tried? Like, if something really bad happens, then I'll be afraid of it and I'll just shut myself off and whatever. But why would you stop before you even started? You know what I mean? So I just made a commitment to myself that I would be open. And one of the other things, I think it's like the 4th one in this, is that when you get these intuitive things, you actually have to act on them. And that sort of helps you build trust in your own abilities. That's something I would struggle a little bit more with, I guess, but the very next day after I had done this, I had a sample tray Basically what that means is we had a whole bunch of like grapes and strawberries and whatnot cut up into little cups that we stick out in the very front of the store so people can try things as they come in so they know whether or not stuff's good. And I was carrying a tray that had like probably 40 of these little cups on them, and that means there's a crap ton of tiny cut up pieces of fruit in this. Which translates to, if you dropped it, you would make a huge mess that would be really hard to clean up because things would roll everywhere. The workspace that I'm carrying this through is a very tiny space that would be very, very difficult to clean because there's a lot of people back there. So there's a cooler door you have to go past to get back out into the store. And people come in and out of this cooler a lot, but I hadn't seen anybody go in. I just went to go buy it and I looked at it, and as I looked at it, something just something told me, you know, somebody's gonna come out of that really fast. I need to get by it very quickly. I don't know why I thought that, but I hustled really fast past it, and the second I got past the barrier of the door flung open and somebody came out, one of my coworkers. If that had hit me, I would have spilled that shit everywhere and it would have made a huge mess. So I just thought that was a really, what am I trying to say? Maybe validation, like something telling me I'm open to it and that's good, and I'm sort of being rewarded with an experience immediately to tell me I'm on the right track. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting because I don't usually have those little things like that all the time. But it's kind of an unexplained experience, so I thought it belonged in this video. In relation to that, if you guys have unexplained experiences or little intuitive things that are going on in your lives right now, or if you're also trying to build these abilities, or if you have in the past and you stopped, I want to hear about that. I want to know why you started, if you stopped, why you stopped, how things are going for you. Do you have any tips for me? Is there any books that you really enjoyed reading that helped you out, or online resources, or people in general? All of that stuff. And I'll also say this, people who are watching this video, I a lot of times watch videos on YouTube and then I don't comment, even though I really, really like the video, or I like the person and I watch all of their videos. Don't be one of those people. If you're watching this, say something. So I like talking to you guys. I like to learn from you as much as I like knowing that people are even watching. Like, the whole reason I'm doing this is I want to make friends and communicate with others. So if you've watched this video, you should really leave me a comment and tell me stuff. I don't even care what. Just talk to me. Cool. The last thing I'm going to say, I may not do a video next week. Chances are I probably won't. I might try and do one this Sunday to kind of make up for that, but the reason for that is Fat Cat, I'm going to try really hard not to cry. Fat Cat, his tumor is absolutely terrible. He's in a lot of pain. He's suffering at this point, and I don't want to see him suffer anymore. He's not really happy. So we are having him put down on Tuesday, which is my day off next week. So chances are I'm not going to be very happy and feeling up to making a video, would be my guess. So I hope you guys can forgive me for that, but I feel like I have a pretty legitimate excuse this time. That's really all I've got. So, love you guys. And I guess I will talk to you Sunday or next week. Either one. Bye.